Miss Jamie's class. What we're going to work on today is we talked about comparing and ordering fractions today. We talked about how we compare and then using comparison how we order the fractions. So the first thing we want to look at is I want to talk about a couple of basic rules that I'm going to type up and put in the blog for you to look at. The first basic rule is if you have two fractions that have like numerators, which means the numerators are the same. If you have like numerators, like in this example, both fractions have 1 as their numerator. If you have like numerators, and this is where it gets a little tricky, if you have like numerators, then the fraction with the smaller denominator is actually the larger fraction. You can think about it this way. When you have fractional parts, as you add pieces, as you cut the whole into more pieces, the pieces get smaller. If you have a pizza that has 3 equal pieces, but then you take that same pizza and you cut it into 7 equal pieces, the pieces are going to get smaller. So that is why this rule, that with like numerators, the smaller denominator is the larger fraction. And I will have this written down in the blog for you. Now the other rule that we talked about today, which is actually one of the easier rules of comparing fractions, is if you have a fraction that has like denominators, meaning that the denominators are the same. Now this makes total sense, and should make total sense when we talk about it, because if you have a pizza that's cut into 7 slices, and an equal pizza that's cut into 7 slices, if I ate 4 of them, and you ate 2 of them, who ate more? Me. So, with like denominators, the larger numerator is the larger fraction. So 4/7 is greater than 2/7. And that should make sense because you're talking about sevenths. They're both sevenths. So with like numerators, the smaller denominator is the larger fraction. And with like denominators, the larger numerator is the larger fraction. Again, I'll have this in writing in the blog, in the post either previous to this video, prior to this video, or after this video. I'm not sure how it's going to line up. But if you forget those rules, you have a safety net. It's called cross multiplying. Okay? So, we have 3/8 and 4/7. Well, no numerators, no like denominators. So what we have to do is we have to determine this either by drawing a picture, which can be kind of tough. So that's why we go to the fail-safe of cross multiplication. And by cross multiplying, now I'm drawing these arrows here. You can probably do it in your head, but I'm drawing the arrows so you see what factors I use. So 8 times 4, 7 times 3. And let me, just to make sure that it's showing up on camera, I'm going to write it really big. So I have 3/8, and I'm comparing it to 4/7. And I'm trying to say which one is greater. So I cross multiply. 8 times 4, 7 times 3. 7 times 3 equals 21. 8 times 4 equals 32. So since the product, the larger product, is associated with this fraction, then 4/7 is the greater fraction. So if I use my less than, greater than, equal to signs, 3/8 is less than 4/7 because 21 is less than 32. Let me do it one more time just to give you a better understanding of how it goes. So let's say we have 4/9 and 3/5. Again, no like numerators, no like denominators, so we can't use those rules. So I cross multiply. 9 times 3 equals 27. 5 times 4 equals 20. Again, this fraction has, the product was 20. Here's 27. So 20 is less than 27. So 4/9 is less than 3/5. Now we use these skills, these cross multiplying skills, when we're ordering numbers, fractions. Ordering fractions from least to greatest or greatest to least. So let's say we have 1/3, 3/8, and 9/12. Let's just say we have these fractions. And we want to put them in order from least to greatest. So what I like to do is say, okay, we're going to compare all these fractions using cross multiplication, and then we'll be able to put them in order. So we have to compare 1/3 to 3/8, 1/3 to 9/12, and 3/8 to 9/12. I'm just going to do all this at once to save me some steps. So 8 times 1 equals 8. 3 times 3 equals 9. 3 times 9 equals 27. 12 times 1 equals 12. 12 times 3 equals 36. 8 times 9 equals 72. So using those products, we can see that 1/3 is less than 3/8. 12 is less than 27, so 1/3 is less than 9/12. 36 is less than 72, so 3/8 is less than 9/12. So by looking at this, you've tried to figure out which one is the smallest. Well, 1/3 is less than 3/8, and it's also less than 9/12. So since it's less than the other two fractions, 1/3 is our smallest fraction. Then we just have to figure out which one comes next. So we took a look at 3/8 and 9/12. Well, right down here, 3/8 is less than 9/12. So therefore, 3/8 is our second fraction in order from least to greatest. And then finally, of course, we have 9/12. So when you have a group of 3 or 4 or 5 fractions, what you want to do is you want to compare them all. Then you're able, by looking at the comparisons, able to determine which one is the smallest or least, the one that's next, and so on until you get to the greatest. And the same is true if you go greatest to least. So we rewatched this video if you still are struggling with your homework. I don't think the homework's that hard because really the homework uses a lot of the basic rule of like numerators, look at the denominator. The larger denominator is actually the smaller fraction. I think I said that wrong. Well, yeah, no, I didn't. The larger denominator is the smaller fraction. And then with like denominators, the bottom number is the same. All you do is look at the top number, the numerator, and it tells you. But again, please look at the blog post which lists the rules for comparing fractions, and that'll help you with your homework tonight. And also, hopefully, this did as well. Have a good night.